It's all coming together right here now. It's all coming.
I'm finally getting to meet Derrick Broze. This is something it's been on my list of to-dos for many, many years. Derrick Broze is one of the biggest inspirations in the movement for me. He's getting it done. Writing for so many different people online, making videos, planting gardens. You know, he's really doing everything that he possibly can for this movement, and I love it. I love the inspiration. Derrick, you rode here on a bike, right? You actually left Houston on a bike to come to United We Stand Festival with us. This is, you know, sorry for the excitement, everybody, but this is a big deal for me. So it's great to meet you, the official meeting you, and tell us about your bike journey, how that transpired. Maybe even let us know about the past bike journeys you've done, and just, yeah, let us know kind of what you're all about with this journey.
Yeah, definitely, man. I appreciate you, you know, having me on your camera here and getting to meet you in person. I think we've been working together online for probably 3 years now or so, at least 3 years. But yeah, so today is the day before United We Stand, and I just got into LA a couple hours ago. I left actually just outside of Austin. I live in Houston, but I went to Austin last Wednesday, stayed there, left Thursday morning from just outside of Austin, and spent the last 5 or 6 days on the road riding my bike 7, 8, 9, 10 hours a day, with the purpose of getting to United We Stand in LA. And this is, you know, it's a portion of a bigger journey of mine. I did this 3 years ago. I rode a bicycle from Houston to New Mexico, just, you know, in a celebration of being free. You know, you've heard me talk about before, I was locked up for a while, and I've changed my life around. I wanted to celebrate being free. So that first trip was a huge part of that. And since then, it was also around the time when I was first waking up and becoming aware and started the Houston FreeThinkers. So since then, I've just been busy being an activist and doing what I can to help out. And I knew at some point I was going to want to get back out on the road, because that's more, you know, it's who I am. I like to celebrate this freedom. Last week, or the day before I left, I was telling Adam Kokesh that he described it as being a noble nomad. Being a noble nomad. So I guess I'll wear that label for now. But it's just, you know, it's in my spirit to get out there and to travel. And now it's become about a bigger purpose to go to meet other activists, do things like this, and to spread awareness on all kinds of topics. So I decided I wanted to do it again, and I left May 2nd from outside of Austin and rode my bike, got a bunch of flat tires, learned lots of lessons. I mean, I try to tell people that you never really know how much you can learn about yourself just when you put yourself out of your comfort zone, whether that means, you know, your city, your suburb, whatever, and spend a couple days on a bike, or even just go to the woods and try to make it on your own. You know, people talk about being survivalist or going off the grid. I think these things experiences like that are huge lessons for that. You know, what do you really need? What's essential? What can you fit in a couple of bags on your bike? How much weight can you carry? You know, what are you going to eat? Where are you going to get water? All these different things, the frustration, the ups and downs, but it's beautiful. It's free. I mean, I'm riding my bike, just looking at the surroundings, just seeing this view that not many people see. Even when you travel in a car, you're going by 70, 80 miles an hour, you know, and I think I topped out going downhill like 30 miles an hour, but generally, you know, 12 to 15 miles an hour. It's a great way to see the country, and there's a lot of struggles and things that go along with it. So I was happy to do that, and I hitchhiked, got some flat tires, walked a little bit, rode some more, hitchhiked, and ended up making it out to El Paso and getting picked up. I realized that basically I wouldn't be able to make a United We Stand in that amount of time, but I definitely believe I could do the whole thing. But it probably would have taken me about another week or so. Realistically, about a week to comfortably, not, you know, killing myself every day. But I wanted to be out here for the festival and to meet everybody. So
yeah,
caught a ride, and here we are, man. But that's and I plan to do some more traveling. It's a part of, like I said, it's a part of spreading the message, spreading the awareness, not just sitting at home and doing it there where it's important on a local level, but coming together. These events are huge opportunities for activists to network. So I mean, for independent journalists and activists out there, you know, get out, go meet other people.
Networking is huge. So I want to make sure that, you know, I got a couple other questions, but I want to make sure that, you know, we get, you know, how can we find your articles? Oh, we're getting a little, you know, we're getting a doorbell ring here. How can we find your articles? And, you know, tell us a little bit about the Conscious Resistance and when we can tune in and what that's all about.
Definitely, man. I appreciate that opportunity to give out my information. I write currently for the Anti-Media with Nick Burnaby, who's actually going to be speaking tomorrow at the United We Stand Fest, and also for Ben Swan, who's also speaking, for benswan.com. Activist Post, and the Liberty Beat, which is based out of Austin, Texas. Awesome, like alternative, independent Liberty Beat. Liberty-based, like NPR, top of the news hour style updates. So I write for them. And the Conscious Resistance Network, theconsciousresistance.com is. Originally was the name that I was giving my independent solo activism to separate my personal opinions and beliefs from what we were building as a community with the Houston FreeThinkers. Just that, I started the Houston FreeThinkers, but I didn't want some of the things that I was saying, my personal beliefs to be taken as the Houston FreeThinkers stance. So I wanted to create a separation of that. And that started with the Conscious Resistance radio show, and then with the website. And then last November, after I got back from hosting Adam versus the Man when Adam was locked up in DC, we decided to launch it as a full network. And so we have my show, The Conscious Resistance Live, airs every Sunday night, and we have a couple other shows and articles, a few other writers now. So it's grown quite a bit in the past 6 or 7 months, and my producer's actually out here in LA. So this is kind of, the trip has multiple purposes. This is also going to be like a tightening up of our operation that we're hoping to see. And also I'm learning a lot about just as far as like connecting these topics, the trip and what the conscious resistance is becoming. I had created it basically with the idea that the conscious resistance means that it's the idea that somebody's not only aware of political, physical world dealings, but is also choosing to go deeper with liberty, with their pursuit of understanding and knowledge. And for me, that whether that means spiritual, philosophically, whatever, it's just self-examination, self-reflection. And I think that's the next evolution of this. It's not, okay, well, we're waking up to what's happening in the physical world, and we're going to change the government, we're going to work to do all of these different things, confront these powerful people, raise awareness. But at the end of the day, if we don't work on our own selves, the most local you can get, then the change won't be effective in the long run. I think it'll be just a short thing, and we're going to end up like, we'll get rid of the government, but then we're just going to still have a bunch of people who are ego-filled and hurt. And really, that's the thing, is I think that humanity in different ways is just hurt, and we all have insecurities, fears, and doubts and things that we share commonly, but we don't always communicate that. And by breaking these barriers down and just being real, keeping it real and freeing the people.
I have to quote a little rebel tongue: open up your mind and let your ego fade away. And that's really what it's all about. You've really inspired us to be the media in Colorado. We're really looking to step it up with our media operation. And it's people that we're meeting here and are making these connections. It's what inspires us to continue on. We were just talking to Richard Gage about what's going to happen this year for the 13th year anniversary in 9/11. I want to give you a chance to talk about that, and I also want to ask you a couple other questions quick. So just tell us a little bit about 9/11 this year briefly, and then I'll get into a couple other questions and we'll get wrapped up, because I know we have a huge party in the other room and we want to get over to that, right?
The show. We were just downstairs talking with Richard Gage, who is the founder of the Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth, which is seeing now over 2,000 architects, fire engineers, chemical engineers, all sorts of professional people who have examined the events of September 11, 2001 and don't believe the official story that the government gives us. And basically, I went to DC to the Pentagon for the 9th anniversary. That was the first time it was the year that I launched the Houston FreeThinkers, and the first thing I did, outside of my own city, and got to meet some of the guys from We Are Change DC and We Are Change Maryland. And overall, it was just a really inspiring thing. I think you understand, just like these moments are getting to meet people that we either keep up with on the internet, we watch their videos, we feel like we're a team, even though we may never meet each other, or we don't often meet each other. So it's inspiring events, and that's what 9/11 was for me. The first time I went, it was the first time I got to go take all this knowledge and information. I've been watching documentaries and reading and studying, and just felt driven enough that I want to go tell more people about this. I need people to wake up, and I want to go see for myself. And I went and saw the Pentagon, and then we went to a couple other locations that are important to that day, and we're really just absorbing information. And the following year, I went to New York for 9/11 for the 10th anniversary, and I'm committed to going every single year now for the rest of my life if I can make that happen. Because I believe that it is a huge topic. I mean, we could spend another whole hour just talking about 9/11 and the importance of that. But I mean, if you don't understand the importance of 9/11 and you need to look at the world today and Patriot Act, NSA spying, expansion of wars, war on terror, et cetera, it all comes from the the lies that took place on that day and what we're told. But now we have to go chase Al Qaeda and Islam all around the world to stop this war on terror, et cetera. So it's the lies that were fed based on that day, and not only that, close to the over 2,000 people who died that day. That's another huge reason to continue to investigate it. But I've also seen the numbers dwindle, and even before I went, whenever it was really the 9/11 Truth movement was really going, probably by 2004 all the way till 2007 or so, where there was thousands of people in the streets. And even when I went on the 10th anniversary, there was still a good amount of people, where all throughout the city for days you would see people with 9/11 Truth shirts, and those numbers have unfortunately shrank. And what we were talking about with Richard is the numbers on the street during 9/11 maybe have shrank. Some people don't see it as relevant or important to go to the city at that time. I see it as one of the biggest times that whether you can make it to New York, it's important to do local action. If we can coordinate some nationwide action, every year we tend to have speaker events where you'll get people like Richard Gage and others, researchers. Cynthia McKinney was there this past year, former congresswoman, people like that, people important and people who are willing to speak out about the lies on 9/11. And then there'll also be street action, so we'll go with We Are Change New York City, and we'll hit up the CFR building. We'll go to just different places around the city and pass on information. They have a bunch of awesome boards, info boards about 9/11. So I've been doing that, and I'm going to still do that, whether it's the 10 of us out there or if we get back to the hundreds and thousands we've had before. But I would love to see it happen again, and that's what we were talking with Richard. I mean, in 2006, I believe it was, when they first shined the light for the third tower. Every year on 9/11 they shine 2 lights for the World Trade Centers, and for the researchers of 9/11, you guys know that the third building, World Trade Center 7, was not even in the official 9/11 Commission report, so it's not represented with the light because, according to their story, it didn't even fall, and nobody died in that building, so it's unimportant. But it plays a lot of importance in what really happened and asking questions. So Richard Gage and the activists out there were able to shine that third light that year, and it was a really huge event. And we're just brainstorming now. We're 4 months out from 9/11. We want to have the street action. We want to have big speaker events. Cater to all different audiences, the people who want to get out there and be that street activist, pass out those flyers. Because like I was telling you downstairs, to me, 9/11 is a really delicate topic in all situations anyways, but people are becoming more open-minded to it. But in New York, around those days, people are extra sensitive. Like you get the real, either thank you for being out here, we're right along with you, like take a flyer, or spitting on you, fuck you, you're un-American kind of thing. Like it's a really delicate time, and so I feel like it's the big leagues for going out there. And also just because 9/11 is a huge topic, so if you can go out there, and I've seen minds change, I've been able to do it and been a part of it and been around some of the most well-educated, awesome activists I've met from Germany, Australia, all over America, England, people come from everywhere, and seeing these conversations take place and just watch minds start, watch them start to question and be like, wow, yeah, I will take that flyer. And it's a beautiful thing. So I'm pushing. I told Richard downstairs that whatever plans we can come together, I'm going to help promote. If you guys can help promote, please. We need to get numbers out there. And if you can't make it to New York, do something in your city. I mean, that either way, it just shows people that the topic is not dead.
Awesome. Now 9/11, I'm with you, is the issue that really pushed me to take action. The missing 2.3 trillion, Building 7, we go on and on, weapons contracts with it. The TSA to even get here was ridiculous. I almost feel like I almost got arrested. The video will be up. But yeah, I have a couple brief questions that I'm going to be asking a lot of different people this weekend. So Derrick, if there was one issue that we all could unify and unite on, what would that issue be that you can think of?
That's a good question, man. I'm going to have to steal that one from you this weekend. So one issue, yeah, because I guess we're at United We Stand, where we're going to be hearing about GMOs, we're going to be hearing about drones, the drug war, obviously the NDAA. I feel like I thought it would be surveillance, but unsurprisingly, and in some cases surprisingly still, there are people who don't care about being surveyed and don't mind that, when you're like, we're going to the streets, hey, every single digital communication, yes, those Snapchats you sent, yes, everything you're doing, they are logging this, they're putting it in a file for use later. But it seems to not be as a driving factor. I also think that the drones are a big issue that people seem to be against, because whether or not people may recognize the overall, like for example, in some cases, some people will say, well, it's okay that they're killing terrorists in other countries with drones, and sometimes there's casualties. You know, that's just the cost of war. I want to be safe, et cetera, et cetera. But when you start telling them that they're bringing the drones over their backyard and things like that, people seem to be more touchy. So. We
saw the drones at 420 this year in Denver. They had drones flying over.
I heard about that, dude. That's crazy. I mean, and now, okay, we know that in 2011, Congress passed the bill, so within the next few years, the FAA is supposed to make room for up to 20,000 drones in American skies. I mean, this is a reality we have to deal with, and that number is only going to increase. I mean, they're not just going to stop. Okay, yeah, we've got enough. They're going to, on the way over here, there's signs that say, speed enforced through aircraft, and there's like a picture of what's essentially a drone, and they've even talked about that in Houston, ticketing people from the sky using drones. So the reasons, both good and bad, depending on it's the government or private use, the reasons for drones are out there. Hopefully, as they continue to expand, there's going to be more awareness around it, because I mean, in my news feed, I have a category specifically for drones, just because it's such a huge topic, and there's thousands of stories every day about some new county, some new city, some new state drafting a bill or some legislation to restrict drones in some way, or some new company who's come up with some awesome new way to use them. You know what I mean? So it's kind of back and forth, but I think as those become more of a reality, and if we ever see the reality of armed drones over American skies, I hope that will unite people, so drones could be a big thing. People obviously are against the drug war. Weed really might be it as well. I mean,
the unifying issue could be weed.
It could be weed. I feel like there are, I mean, not to say that there are, I mean, I guess for me personally, weed is not the most important issue, because I feel like it's silly, because we should be able to smoke a plant or do whatever we want anyways in the first place. So it's like we're having to argue our case against something that is retarded in the first place. You know what I mean? So we're like, hey, you have control over plants, so we're gonna beg for whatever we can get. Not to say that every new state, every new bill is not awesome. Like, hell yeah, legalize it, decriminalize, do whatever you're gonna do to bash down this, this drug, because the drug war is ending. It's gonna be a process, but we are watching it end, in different ways in different states. But I also feel like giving the youth weed would be just like a trinket to get us to chill out and to maybe just slow down. Like, oh, we got weed now, and a lot of people, like, that is their issue.
Whoa, there's weed at the FEMA camps. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Is that like people would be marching in that baby? They'd be going in right away. Free weed at the FEMA camps, man. We're heading on in. And so yeah, I think there's many issues that we could talk about. We don't want to forget about the pipelines going through. We don't want to forget about maybe the extinction of the human race with transhumanism and robots. I don't know. That's a topic I think that I'm really kind of looking at more often than not and going, well, this could be the biggest issue. But we can't forget about geoengineering going on. So there's a lot of things, and I just like to ask, what's if we could pick one and work on it, it'd be awesome. But last question, Derrick, and it's what conscious resistance is all about, and this is how can we inspire people? How can we inspire people to let go of the fear paradigm, let love take control and guide their actions?
That's a good one too, man. You've got great questions.
Great question. Thank you.
I would say, that's. I mean, and maybe it's gonna sound corny or cliche or whatever, but it does. It starts within. It's something that starts within, and it's not anything that I can profess to be like, yeah, that I've achieved this perfect state of loving myself and completely letting go of fear, because it's something we all struggle with, but I think that that's also what can help others, is by just being real about it. For so long, we've all been taught or shown. It's like when you're a child, they tell you that anything's possible, but then at a certain point, though, they start telling you, okay, now you need to start fitting inside these lines, you need to start coloring these lines, and these are the ways to be happy. Follow this system, and do this, do these certain things, and you'll achieve happiness if you have this amount of money and these clothes and all this sort of bullshit. But you realize after a certain point that that's not necessarily true for everyone, that we all have our own ways to achieve happiness. But I feel like some of us have a difficulty with that, because we want to conform. We want to feel like good. We want to feel like we belong, because that's just what humans want to do. So you try to belong to a system that isn't natural, isn't our natural state of being, you know, and that does promote fear, and that does promote division, and does promote these different aspects that don't really gel with who we are as people. So what I feel is important is just to be open, you know what I mean? Like, that's why, like, through social media, Facebook or whatever, my videos, I try to be genuine. I don't try to put on a face. And even sometimes I feel like I'm more open through those mediums than I may be with people directly around me, because I don't know, it just, for whatever reason, I feel I can do that, and people seem to resonate and respond with that. So what I think it is just to get past fear and to move towards love, we have to just be more open to ourselves and be real. You know what I mean? There's no reason to have these walls that we've built between each other, these divisions that we've bought into, race, Republican, Democrat, awake, sheeple, whatever. All these different things are just divisions.
Statist, yeah.
Yeah, you know, and like I said, yeah, status, definitely. All these labels, and they can be helpful for various reasons, but at the end of the day, you know, we're humans, and we all have insecurities, we all have doubts, we all have fears. They are varying in many ways, but the sooner we are real about them and say, hey guys, you know what, I'm dealing with this, and this is something I'm struggling with and working with, then somebody else is going to be like, wow, you know, so am I. I used to deal with that, and this is how I got through it. And we work together as this human family to get past the silly shit, and before we know it, we're all beautiful, free, independent human beings doing everything that we can to be free, and all these silly issues start to disappear. And all this stuff that we've been seeing that's been reflected in the Matrix, because we have to remember that the Matrix is self. Like, this, I fully believe that the darkness, the evil people in the world, whatever, they're all doing things that we're fully capable of, and the sooner that we as individuals start on a local level in here fixing our own issues, we're going to see that ripple out, and the more people did that, the more it would spread, until we wouldn't have people who want to control and dominate. They don't, you know, there wouldn't be a need for that. And maybe that's idealistic, and I also think it's a process that's going to take quite a while, but why not start now? You know what I mean? We could be the ones to really start promoting this idea and give our children and give the future a world that isn't based on fear and is based on love.
Beautiful answer, beautiful interview, beautiful evening, beautiful day, whatever. It's an awesome experience being out here in LA and getting to share our stories and getting in to evolve our consciousness even more. This has been Bruce with We Are Change Colorado at WACC TV on YouTube. Big thanks to United We Stand Festival for allowing us all to come out together, and big manifestations coming out to bring this festival to Denver at some point, or to bring your face to Denver sometime soon. We'd love to have you at a We Are Change Colorado meeting. Thank you very much.